Hello IOD community and welcome to another DIY tutorial. Today we're going to be taking these bamboo serving platters which we found on Amazon and upcycling them into these gorgeous tea trays. You could also thrift a similar tray, but these worked well. If you thrift yours, make sure it's nice and clean before you start with your paint. We're going to be using this nice meadowy foresty green, and you can get in touch with your local stockist to figure out what type of paint is best for you. There's many types of brands. Today we are using a chalk type paint. And you're just going to go ahead and get that all over your tray, getting a nice coating all over the inside, over the ridges, and then on that back side as well. Make sure not to get your fingers too dirty during the process. Of course, you can let it dry in between, so then you can grab those sides and flip it over. And do use something on your table so you don't get your table all dirty. Let's talk a little bit about the products that we're going to use today. So we're going to use our IOD Fairy Tale Florals transfer. That comes in an 8" by 12". So it's perfect for smalls. And the beauty of this is you'll be able to use it for this project and so many more. So there's a ton of value in this one. And we're also going to be using our Vintage Texture stamp, which you can use for so many projects. Go ahead and pick both those up. Get in touch with your local stockist at ironorchiddesigns.com. Click that big red Where to Buy button and you'll find your local stockist there. So once you've got your coats all nice and on there and you got a nice opacity, it's time to make sure that this tray is entirely dry before you move on to inking with your IOD Stone Grey Ink. So we're going to go ahead and juice up our stamp pad. This stamp pad was used before. We just like to add a nice coat because this one hasn't been used in a while. Make sure that we're going to get a good layer of ink on that stamp. So we grab our Vintage Texture stamp. You have 4 options here. We're going to choose the design with some nice open lines. So you'll see Olivia grab that and pull it off. This is a new stamp. This one hasn't been used before, so she's just working with it to get some flexibility because we're going to put that on the sides of the tray. So she's just made sure that's nice and flexible so we get a little bit of bend once we start to stamp. Just going to go ahead and stamp that ink. Get it all nice and juicy on our stamp. And we're going to add our textured background to our tray first. So she's going to go in here and you can see this is why she just crinkled that stamp up earlier, just to make sure that it was going to be nice and flexible as she moves that around, and just uses parts of the stamp to get this texture. This larger distress is really nice because it fits the details of this tray well. If we had used some of the smaller texture, it would have probably looked a little too small for the space. So that's why you have lots of different options on this stamp. Play with them. Don't always use the same one. I know we use the crackle stamp quite a bit, but this is perfect for this one. So make sure that you don't forget to use some different ones and don't get stuck with your favorites. Quick tip on the stamps is that you want to actually lightly tap on the back when you're doing the texture stamp versus a full impression stamp. That's going to make it look like a more authentic distress versus just the entire stamp showing up. You want it to just look just tapped on with your fingers instead of pressed on. So once that's nice and dry, you can come in with a sealer and you're going to seal your whole tray. We're using General Finishes Flat Out Flat Sealer, but just like the paints, there's many different options. So go ahead and check with your local stockist for what's best for you. You want to make sure that your tray is entirely dry. Many stockists will leave their trays or items they're working on for 24 hours at least to make sure that they don't get any lifting when they apply their transfers, as one of the most common errors we can see is that there was not a good dry time or not a good adhesion or prepping on the base of what you're painting so that starts to pull up with the paint. So just make sure you properly prep your surfaces if any prep is needed. Make sure it's properly dry, and then you'll have no issues with your transfers. So we're going to go ahead and select the transfers for this project. We're going to use some of the floral elements, and you can choose to use something different. We want a large floral in the center, and then we're going to use some of these little trailing florals to spray out on the sides. So we've trimmed down our transfer backing, and we are ready to press that down. Make sure when you press it down, you like you're placing, because that adhesion on the back makes it very difficult to lift up and move, and that could actually tear your transfer. So once you commit, just press it down, and that's where you're putting it. Use your transfer applicator stick to begin to transfer your transfer onto that tray. If you're completely new to transfers, welcome to the world of IOD. You will soon be addicted. And we would like to invite you to go and check out our Transfer 101 on our ironorchiddesigns.com website. This will go through all the details on how to be successful with your transfers. And like we just mentioned a while ago, proper prepping and dry times are crucial. So this will walk you through some of those common steps and get you all ready to make beautiful artwork with IOD. You will notice a color shift on the back of your transfer once it's released, as the color will then be transferred down onto the tray. And if you have any bits and pieces that didn't transfer down, you can always lay that sheet back down and rub your transfer applicator around that section a little bit more to get it to release. Now we're going to take our 4 little flower sprays and we are going to put those around the quadrants of our tray, pressing down in the area that we want to put them. And then we're going to repeat this step to use our transfer applicator to transfer that design down. At the time of this recording, we are getting ready for our holiday collection reveal. This is our biggest release of the year. The tribe is buzzing with excitement, and believe me when I tell you that our team puts so much effort into bringing you the best and most beautiful designs for your holiday creations. Every year it lights us up, and we spend months behind the scenes. We're designing these things 6 months to even more than that in advance. So we've seen the designs and we've had them in our hearts for so long. And so by the time we finally get them to you, it is so exciting to see that come full loop. If you're new here, IOD does around 3 releases every year. So you can look forward to that in the new year, mid-year around May, and then in this holiday season. And this is our big one. Most of the items are limited release. They almost always sell out. So if you see something you love, you definitely need to pick that up. So we hope you're as excited as we are. We cannot wait to share all of our hard work with you and see what beautiful things you make. So with that, we'll jump back to our project and watching Olivia wrap up here with the transferring. She's just going to do a quick burnishing, which is taking that back plastic and just making sure that that transfers nice and adhered to the surface so you don't get any lifting. This is looking really cute, but we still have some finishing details that we're going to go ahead and add to our project. So we're going to seal this with a dark wax, and we're going to do an ombre effect. So we're going to take that wax brush, get into the edges, and really give a good coating of that wax all the way around the tray. And then we're going to blend that into the middle so it's lighter. This wax will also serve to seal those transfers in, so you'll be all set after you get this on there. And you can see Olivia just working her way around, just taking her time and getting that nice and on that wood into that edge. And then she's just going to take some nice time to blend that. We're going to actually use a towel here, which is going to help just get a smooth blend on that surface. So we just have a nice dark and shadowy edge and just sealing all of our transfers in here. For the finishing details, we decided that this needed a little bit of glitz and gold. So we're going to grab some gold leaf paint to add just some tiny details to the edge of our tray and to our flowers that are really going to make this pop and just really bring it together. We decided that this needed a little bit more dark wax, so Olivia went in with that brush and added it to the center and is just rubbing that and wiping it back. So now you can see our tray is just about ready for those gold accents. And now we've grabbed a tiny detail brush and we're just going to make that edge pop by trailing that around the center. And you can see that this isn't perfect, and that is part of the charm. You can see that it's handmade. The line weight's a little varied, but it really just adds that touch of something that really brings this to life. I think my favorite part is what Olivia is going to do next, which is she's just going to add some dots of gold into the flowers. And it's amazing how just adding a little bit of layering and different texture like that can really bring a project together. So definitely don't skip this step. It is going to make your project shine, literally. Our fairy tale florals have a fun fact, and that's that they're actually pulled from a historic pottery and design book. So when you add these designs to your projects, you can know that you're really bringing a touch of authentic vintage that was loved years and years ago and just bringing it new life. And we really adore that. So when you finish this project, we can't wait to hear how you've incorporated it into your home, making something special for your family or your friends to delight in. That's the joy of what we do here. We love sharing in that creation with you, and we cannot wait to see you back here on this channel. Same time, same place. See you next time.